Gentlemen, and this is AP Language Roundtable Discussion. Today we would like to read a passage for you, as well as to do selected responses and free response questions, as well as to do essays, and to give you tips and guidance on the AP practice that we're doing today. I will first read you the passage. The point I was praying to bring before you on this occasion is the individuality of the human soul, our partisan idea, the right of individual conscience and judgment, our Republican idea, individual citizenship, and discussing the rights of women. We are to consider first what belongs to her as an individual in the world of her own, an arbitrator of her own destiny, and imaginary Robin Crusoe of her womanly Friday on the solitary island. Her rights under such circumstances are to use all her faculties for her own safety and happiness. Secondly, we consider her as a citizen, as a member of a great nation. She must have the rights as all of other members, according to the fundamental principles of our government. The strong reason for giving women all the opportunities for higher education for the fulfillment and development of her facilities, force of body and mind, for giving her the most enlarged freedom of thought and action, a complete emancipation of all kinds of bondage of custom, of dependence, of superstition, from all the crippling influences of fear, its solitude and personal responsibility of her own individual life. In the religion, she is able to believe equality in social life, where she is the chief factor, a place in the trades and professions where she may earn her bread, is because of her birthright of self-sovereignty, because as an individual she must rely on herself, no matter how much women prefer to be protected and supportive, nor how much men desire to have them do so. They must make the voyage of life alone, and for safety in an emergency, they must know something of the laws of navigation to guide our own craft. We must be captain, pilot, and engineer with charts and compasses to stand at the wheel, to match the wind and the waves and know them, to sail, to take in the sail, and to read the signs in the firmament of all. It matters not whether the solitary voyager is a man or a woman. We must come into the world alone. Unlike all who have come before us, we leave it alone under circumstances peculiar to ourselves. No mortal ever has been, no mortal ever will be, and no one will ever find two human beings alike. Seeing then what must be the infinite diversity in human character, we can in a measure appreciate the loss to a nation when any large class of people are uneducated and unrepresented in the government. We ask for the complete development of every individual, first for his own benefit and happiness, and fitting out an army, we give each soldier his own knapsack, arms, powder, his own burden. Again, we ask complete individual development for general good. The great lesson that nature seems to teach us at all ages is self-dependence, self-protection, and self-importance. Amid the greatest triumphs and darkest tragedies of life, we walk alone on the divine heights of human attainment. We stand alone. Alone we starve or steal. Seeing that then that life must be a march and a battle, that each soldier must be equipped for his own protection, it is the height of force to rob the individual of a single natural right. Whatever may be said of men's protection power in ordinary conditions amid all the terrible disasters by land and sea, at the supreme moment of danger alone, women must ever meet the horrors of the situation, and that solemn solitude of self that links us with the imaginable and the eternal. Each soul lives alone forever. And yet there is a solitude which each and every one of us has always carried with him, more inaccessible than the ice cold mountain, more profound than the midnight sea. Our inner being, which we call ourselves, such is the individual life who I add can dare take on himself the right, the duties, the responsibilities of another human soul. Now we shall read the selected responses. First, number 24, the attitude of the author towards the education of women is aged, denigrated, B, ambivalent, C, impervious, D, indefinite, or E, imperative? The answer is E, imperative. Because out of all the answer selections that we've chosen, that one was the one that most stood out because of what the author says in the text. Number 25. In the passage, the author used each of the following except A, metaphor, B, complex sentence structure, C, satire, D, allusion, and E, parallel structure. The answer we chose was E, parallel structure. Number 26. For the author, the primary purpose of the education.
2-1. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, and here is question number 26. The primary purpose of the education of women is to A, self-sufficiency, B, control of others, C, to be equal with men, D, to meet the demands of society, and E, to teach others. The correct answer would be C, to become equal with men, but it can also be A, self-sufficiency, because with an education, you also gain the world, basically, because with education, you can do anything and reach all heights. So between A and C, I would say A, for self-sufficiency. Number 27. Paragraph 3 is developed using all except A, ironic contrast, B, examples, C, cause and effect, D, extended metaphor, and E, parallel. We believe it's A because there was no ironic contrasts in this passage. There was just straight shooting examples. 28. The concept that all people have diversity in common is an example of A, paradox, B, cause and effect, C, analogy, D, understatement, E, parody. I believe it is C, analogy, based on the fact that they analyze that everyone in the passage is equal, no matter who they are, no matter what they do in converse to women, basically. Okay, number 29. The laws of navigation refer to A, military law, B, celestial navigation, C, laws of nature, D, tools needed for survival, or E, the 10 Commandments. Now, when you think of the laws of navigation, you think about sailing, basically. The laws of navigation are what gets you from point A to point B through the water successfully. So your best bet would be D, the tools needed for survival. Now, as my time is drawing to a close, I would like to turn this over to Andre Williams for the next segment of AP Language and Lit Roundtable. Thank you and have a good evening.
You might not drive a car now, but you soon can